Hello, everybody. My name is Travis Garvey, and for this course of business sustainability strategy, I decided that I wanted to go and look at Caterpillar Incorporated. Now, Caterpillar Incorporated's mission is to enable the building up of the world in a sustainable way. And I wanted to do this company because I've worked on this company with other projects in the past. So I thought it could be nice to go further in depth with how they go about their CSR strategy. All right, so the key sustainability challenges that Caterpillar deals with. So the number one thing that I've noticed in my research is its scope 3 emissions. Now, this is not uncommon in the industry. Many companies often find that they have a lot of equipment that is in circulation that is like heavily powered on fossil fuels that emits a lot of greenhouse gases. Another thing they need to work on is their supply chain. So they currently have a compliance score of 34%, which means that only 34% of the time they are able to meet stakeholder demands or adhere to them. And it's important to note that with this number, the industry average is 50%. So Caterpillar is the worst at doing this compared to the majority of its competitors in the industry, which is interesting because it's the leading company in its industry as well. They own the largest share of the market. Now, with management, I wanted to highlight this governance risk score. So this compared to its competitors is pretty average. But for a company like Caterpillar, you would think that it would be a bit better. So an example, Deere and Company, one of the main competitors, also known as John Deere, it has a governance risk score of 2. So it drastically is better than what Caterpillar has. So these three things really need to be looked at more in depth. And their issues and their opportunities that Caterpillar can solve. So the three recommendations I have are to increase the amount of electric options they have, increase trade with existing clientele that own Caterpillar equipment, and also to create a new management evaluation system. So with the electric options, they currently only have like 30, and this company has hundreds upon hundreds of products. So I think it would be important to create more high quality electric products that people can buy in place of traditionally powered diesel machinery. And the whole point of this is to lower its scope 3 emissions. Now, with its trade-in program, this would be essentially you kind of need to rely on the first recommendation. You need more equipment that is electrified, and you want to go to people that are already using your equipment and offer them some sort of deal or trade to get their equipment and give them the electric equipment in place. So you're really going to have to make it worth their while. And it's probably going to involve a lot of heavy investment in R&D. But what you do then is you retrofit this equipment that you've now taken away from them. You could either scrap it or you could alter it in some way and make it more sustainable and then sell it again. And this is also to lower your scope 3 emissions. So moving on to our last recommendation here. This recommendation really just gives power back to the employees because the employees have had issues with governance in the past, mainly with them being taken advantage of, forced work, mandatory overtime, not paid very much. So this lets them evaluate their bosses, and then that score gets evaluated, and it determines how much management is compensated and if they are going to stay management and how well they're doing with the company's ESG scores. So it's going to be important to implement the plans that we have recommended. What really needs to happen in the STAR is for the electric options, Caterpillar really needs to get ahead of it. They need to say, we are taking scope 3 emissions seriously now. We're going to launch this new research and try and increase the amount of electric options that we have all up front. The trade-in needs to start with market research, figure out what products are the most important to customers, and from there try and decide how they can coerce them or encourage them to trade with existing equipment, or it might be relying on the electric recommendation for that equipment to be developed first. The management system, they need to appoint leadership that's going to champion this idea. This is going to be a new system that takes away power from leadership. So it might be a little hard to implement at the start. As these go through here, I'm not going to read everything, but you can see like the different phases and steps that each of them are going to take. And a lot of it is all reliant on essentially monitoring the process and evaluating whether it's successful or not. And we have key performance indicators as well to determine, well, are these actually working or are they not? And we want to make sure that we're looking at scope 3 emissions reduction over time. That's the most important for the first two. And for the last, the management system, we really want to look at employee satisfaction and turnover rates. What I learned studying Caterpillar is that it's very important for employees to value the company that they work at. See, they're going to go home to their families and they're either going to say good things about the company or bad things. And if you can't accurately meet what their demands are, then they're more than likely not going to be super satisfied with the company. And moving forward, I think it's going to be very important to map out the stakeholders of whatever industry I'm working in. And, because you can't really satisfy everyone. You can try your best, but you might spread yourself thin. It's really important to focus on the key stakeholders. All right, so that is my very, very brief presentation on Caterpillar. I realize that this was a lot thrown at you all at once, so please feel free to email me if you want me to discuss anything further in depth. But other than that, thank you to everyone, and I wish you all the best.